Okay there, future me. This is how you test um, your API using Postman. So you've created your routes right, of your API, and now you want to test them out. You could make an endpoint and then test out immediately. Up to you, really. Once you've done that, this is what you will be facing. So what you want to do is you want to either create a new workspace, and I've already created one. So we're going to use my workspace. This is this is what I have at the moment. So within my workspace, I have a collection that's there. But for you, you're going to have to create a new collection, which is a folder, a collection of requests. All right. After that, you want to then um, add your root, right? So you add your root and you choose the method that you want, enter the endpoint, basically the endpoint being this plus your API prefix if you have one. My blueprint has a prefix, which is my mine has a prefix which is API, and then the name of the root. So this is what I have here. If you want to test out form data entry, so you haven't created a form, but you want to insert data to see how the API receives it, simply go to body, form encoded, enter the keys and values, and send this request. That's it, really. For getting projects, this has no headers, really. There's absolutely no headers. It's just getting from, so you can actually just send this and you see what your API is doing. And that's a successful test. Same applies for adding now with JSON data. This time you go to body, instead of form data, because you're going to be adding JSON data, you then click on raw, make sure that here it's on JSON data, and you send this for deleting a project. All you have to do is just enter it. Obviously, if you know the ID of the project you want to delete, say for example, I want to delete number 14, you'd enter 14 here, right? And you send, and then you delete it from your database. Patching, same thing. They all don't have headers. And for getting a specific one, same thing. All right, now let's move on to documentation. After you've created your routes, you want to save them. After saving them, they're going to ask you to add a description. You can add what your API does. Also, make sure that you've renamed your route to describe what it does a little bit. So here, add project using form data. That's nice. Now when I come back to this, I'll know that this is what it does. Then now you can also add an example of this. So add an example of what happens. So here, successful response. What happens when it's a successful response? An unsuccessful response. This is great for when you want to test out things in the future. So like for instance here, successful response for getting this would look more something like this. Okay. Now let's view documentation. Documentation. Whoa. This is your description. How did I get here? Simply go to API documentation, which is provided on the main page of Postman. You get there. You'll have an API documentation section, and there's a boilerplate in there. That's what you use. You just paste it into ChatGPT, and make it match your code. That's it. And then edit it. Now for the post request, this is the documentation, so you can actually view it in the same place. This will be the URL, which I will obviously edit once deployed. And then just double tap, edit this. I added a table just so that I know what's in there. So I've just said, okay, the key will be name, the value will be a string, and is unique, and so forth. Okay. The headers, I intend on putting an API key, but for now, this isn't really existent. But content type, it's form data. And Postman can actually generate code for you just